Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, Shalom to the elect, Ba'ashem Ruchak Kodash. My name is Jacobo from Plaintables Camp. This is the apostles video on the, that's the title there. We're going to go over about the dream and whatever we get to. Let's see.
Other people having the same exact dream and vision as me, and the predictions that are coming out even so similar to what I experienced. So I was here at work. It was a normal dream. It was a normal day. I was going home. We get there and my building is completely on fire. We go inside to try to get important things out, but by that time, everyone was in chaos. Everyone was outside, just like in the movie trailers that people are coming out with right now. Everyone was outside. Everyone was aggressive, really mean, really rude, just desperate for answers. And another common theme was that there was no power anywhere. There was no power. Buildings were on fire. Everyone's house was on fire. There was nowhere to hide. And I quote, me thinking that in my dream, there was nowhere to hide. Down the street of where I live in real life, there's a 7-Eleven. So my sister and I go to 7-Eleven to check it out. No one is buying anything. A bag of chips is like $80 and nobody has $80. So
That's hyperinflation. And I got to check the gas prices today, see if they're going up. Because if U.S. gets involved, gas prices will go up. They may have to ration. I remember in the 72, 73, if you had a odd number, I think the last number on your plate was an odd number, you get gas on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays or whatever. And if you had an even number, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and you had long lines. And I remember when gas prices at that time was 35 cents a gallon. That went up, I believe, to $2 a gallon, which was outrageous. But people had to pay it because they needed to go where they had to go. And that's when 70s, prior to the 70s, 60s, you had cars that would get 8 miles to the gallon. So that's when the Japanese car industry came in. Better economy on the cars. You get 25, 30 miles to a gallon. Anyway, that's something else.
Also, police brutality. Like, the cops were being so mean to everyone.
And they're going to retaliate against the police because they know that the police are not there to help them. They're there to help themselves. And that's 2nd Ezra 15. You can really start the 15th verse. I think the 15, 16 verse. It said they're going to come against their kings and their princes and people in authority.
So I stole.
And these clowns in the churches are not talking about that. They're not These so-called Christians are not concerned about prophecy. They're not talking about end-time prophecy. Especially the dumbass black church. That's the worst thing going.
If you stole food, like even like a little seed, you're done. Like we even have no idea where they sent you. Probably to like some crazy concentration camp jail. I don't know. But,
crazy concentration camp or jail, Revelation 2:10.
So, no power, no gasoline, no money, no homes, no buildings to hide in, complete chaos, fire, everyone was cold, inhumane, angry, not nice, famine. Forgot to explicitly say it, but there was a huge famine. There was nowhere to hide. It was really scary, guys. It was chaotic, violent, and people were traveling by feet. People were hitchhiking. I mean, my sister and I hitchhiked.
His honor and glory to Yahshua. Brought out another lesson here. Second book, sickness of that which order shall be found in the sweet and all friends.
Hasidim and the Lubavitcher. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe those are two. Hasidim is one. There's two groups, but they wear the black. They wear all black. And he said that one group believes that they should be over there to usher in the Messiah coming. But we believe that when the Messiah comes back, then the Messiah is going to bring us to Israel, which they're correct on that, but they're not the people, you know? But some of them are. Some of them Orthodox Jays, and the ones that Ashkenazis, as they call them, some of them are Israelites too. Remember, Israel looks like everybody on the planet Earth, scattered among. So you got Vocab talking about we're not the people. Vocab, how do you know? How can you just look at somebody? Oh, he's an Israelite and he's not an Israelite.
Could be the war to end all wars that ushers in the end of history. Well, you may be going right now like, bro, this is heavy, man. Can I?
Now, if I was dealing with this, talking to this guy, I would ask him about Babylon. What about Babylon the Great? And I don't know. We got to do more. I said, do you know that's America? No, I don't see that being America because he don't want it. He doesn't want it to be America.
Just say this. There's a lot of hope in Ezekiel 38 and 39. Because
not for you if you're an Edomite. Now, he could be a Jake. Could be Italian or Polish or whatever. Could have some Irish descent in him. You know? He could be a Jake and he may not be a Jake. But one thing I know for sure, he doesn't understand these prophecies. He understands some of them. And see, you got the audience. The thing about Christians, they're basically stupid. They follow one guy. You got a guy that went to theological cemetery, I call it, and they just blindly listen and take notes. Just like IUIC, whatever this guy Nate says, Bishop Nate says, they just go with it. That's why Deacon Malachi was malfunctioning. He was malfunctioning. He almost kind of slipped and said to Chip, he'll make this thing happen. You're going to have to start sinning now. Or you can't buy or sell. No, it's an actual Chip. You know, wake up and smell the coffee.
Because we know how that battle ends. But the Bible says exactly at the moment when it looks like all hope is lost for the descendants of Isaac, that the Lord himself, Jesus.
First of all, the Arab nation descended from Isaac too. Okay? Esau descended from Isaac too.
Jesus Christ will descend. He will take the battlefield and he will win the war once and for all time.
This is Luke 21 and 9th verse. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Then he said unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places. And famines and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. So these wars in Ukraine, Russia, in the land of Israel, and Iran, these are all signs of the Messiah's return, Yahushua. But before all these, they shall lay hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogue and into prisons, and being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake, for the name of Yahushua. All right, and it shall turn to you for a testimony. So we're going to remember what was written, what was said unto us in the script and in the ancient world, that these things are going to come to pass. So we know Yahushua is nigh to return. So settle it not in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. The Spirit going to say it. He's going to speak through us. For I will give you the mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. All right. So we don't have to think about, a rebuttal to smart ass comments or threats of death when we get arrested and persecuted, when we given our space to speak, because the Holy Spirit going to give us what to say. All right, and evangelicals cheering on war with Iran for God. Right? Yeah. So then you said you want to talk about Ezekiel 38, but if you're on a secular, so I think that's what you call it, or you just care about countries, what the physical, the temporal, the flesh. You worrying about government and holding people accountable for crimes and voting people in and out and building up a stockpile of stuff. But if you're spiritual and you know the truth, you know that the understanding Ezekiel 38.
People, it shall also come to pass that same time thing come to thy mind, and thou shalt say, I will go. Right, thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest. Meaning that Israel doesn't have too much fears. They said we got America backing us up. Now, what Nettie did was, according to the news a couple of days ago, it was a sneak attack, just like the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. It was a sneak. By the way, documents came out that the executive branch of government knew that it was going to come. I think they knew 6 months before it came. So really, it was like a false flag, but it means that they believe that they're safe. 11th verse, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. Now you got Bishop Nate talking about, this is 1,000 years in the kingdom. I will go to them that are at rest. See, we're in the kingdom. No, that's talking about Israel, being that dwells safely. She said it's a peaceful people. She broke it down wrong. That's protected, that we don't got to worry about nothing. All of them dwelling without walls and having their bars and neither bars nor gates. Their bars and their gates are going to be open. If they don't open them, the Spirit is going to open them. And this goes hand in hand with Nahum. Their bars and gates represent the dome. Iron dome. That's your bars and gates. It's going to be open. To take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations. And this on a bigger macro level, it refers to America too. All right, because there was nobody dwelling in America. Now you got it's a great melting pot. So this is Israel, but in the bigger pictures is America too. Because whatever happens to Israel is going to happen to Babylon the Great, the U.S., which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land, Sheba and Dedan, the merchants of Tarshish, with all the young lions thereof, shall say unto thee, art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey? To carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, and to take a great spoil. Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto Gog, thus saith the Lord the Most High, in that day when my people of Israel dwelleth safely, thou shalt not know it. So Nate says that's 1,000 years from now. No. When this place is done, it said they're going to destroy all the weapons. So how are they going to come against us 1,000 years from now? And thou shalt come from thy place out of the north, that's Russia, parts, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, modern military weaponry, a great company and a mighty army. And thou shalt come up against the people of Israel. That's talking about them people over there, which you got a lot of Israelites living. You got at least a couple 100,000 Israelites in Dimona. One of the first places that Iran attacked with missiles was Dimona. That's a nuclear site, and you got the real Israelites dwelling over there, and you got Israelites mingled among the small hats. As a cloud that covers the land, it shall be in the latter days. The latter days is not talking about 1,000 years into the kingdom. We're living in the latter days. And I will bring thee against my land, which is Israel, that the heathen may know me when I shall be sanctified in thee, O God, before thy eyes. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, art thou he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servants, the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years that I would bring thee against them. And this is talking about the latter days, not to 1,000 years in the kingdom. And it shall come to pass at the same time when Gog shall come against the land of Israel, saith the Lord most Yahweh, that my fury shall come up in my face. For in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel. This is getting ready to happen. That's when the missiles hit this place and the whole earth quakes. So now let's come on back.
Okay, but we're going to circle back to how...
Revelation 20. That's when Christopher Columbus, that's when they discovered the New World. That's what that's talking about. You see how for 1,000 years, Satan bound. Satan is talking about the enemy, Esau. For 1,000 years, Satan freed. That's when Christopher Columbus, that's when they discovered the New World. That's what that's talking about. You see how it says in the parentheses, Ezekiel 38 and 39. And when 1,000 years were expired, this 1,000 years, it says here in the 4th verse, 1,000 years, it's talking about the kingdom. This 1,000 years is talking about when we're talking about 500 years ago. The mid to late 1300s into the 1400s. Actually, the mid to late 1400s. They were able to discover the other side of the world because the Spirit got on Cristobal Colon to come on the other side of the world. And he knew that they were speaking Hebrew because he was reading the scriptures. So it says, and when 1,000 years are expired, let me come back to the 4th verse. This 1,000 years has nothing to do with this 1,000 years. The 1,000 years being expired started, the day one was during the time of Constantine the Great, 325. But guess what? Jake been ruling Rome. He had Rome split up into two, Western Rome and Eastern Rome, which you had the four, what's what they call tetrarchs. Two of them took the west and two of them took the east. One of them was Constantine the Great's father, Constantius. If you go to the four tetrarchs, you'll see it. And that's in a church in Venice, Italy, because we ruled Italy. We ruled. Hey, when this man, look, Jake didn't sit in the seat of an emperor in 193 AD, Septimius Severus. Jake sat in the seat as an emperor back in 96 AD. Nerva. He's one of five of what's called the good emperors, because they were doing good things. They were doing public works, and they were building Rome. But that was Jake. Jake then took it over. Esau then lost it. The last Edomite emperor was Domitian, the younger brother of Titus, and the son of Vespasian. That's why none of these Israelite groups understand 2nd Ezra 11 and 2nd Ezra 12. Now, we did put videos up, so if you watched our videos, you would understand it. The 12-winged feather with the the 3 heads in the beginning, and then went to sleep and came back. Those 3 heads. That eagle was talking about the Roman Empire from the time of Julius Caesar to the time of Domitian Caesar. So Esau only had the Roman Empire for maybe about 150 years. And we took it from there. So we had power from 96 on until we were taken down by the Turks. And the Turks gonna have to pay for that too. You got Jakes mingled among them Turks any goddamn way. So anyway, let's go to the 4th verse. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua. Go back to like Paul was beheaded. Some of the apostles were beheaded. Some of them were killed. Peter was crucified, and he said, I want to be crucified upside down. And for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image. And that's not a picture of Caesar Borgia. Anybody that says that the image is talking about a picture of Caesar Borgia, and show you an old movie of the greatest story ever told, starring Max von Sydow, is a stupid ass, a dimwit. Neither had received his mark, and that's talking about the microchip. Deacon Malachi is talking about the microchip. So you need to wake the fuck up. We ain't telling you to leave Nate. We're telling you to correct him. Pursuant to Galatians 6. You almost slipped and said it was the market, and then you said, then Deacon Malachi said, we told you guys if you take that, you're gonna die. No, you didn't. Y'all didn't say that. Bishop Nate said, take it if you have to. You know? And and I said, I put it on a comment. I forget whose video I put it on. I think it was Elder Yasha Wamba's, I believe, if not mistaken, or one of them videos. I said none of the leadership took the jump shot, because none of them died. They mentioned, I believe, 2022 Passover. They said 21 or 22 people died, from the thing. Was it because they didn't take it and they caught it? No, because they took it and they caught it. So the leadership covered their ass, man. They told people, no, you got to keep that job. No, it's a good job. Keep it. Go ahead and take it. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But they said, no, we ain't taking that shit. Or in their hands. That's the microchip, Deacon Malachi. That's the topic right there. You live in a fucking lie, bro. You live in a lie. And they lived and reigned with Yahushua 1,000 years. That's the kingdom. Now, Esau is not going to come out of the woods and just start attacking us, because it tells you in Revelation 21 that the Lord, the supreme power, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, is going to be in the presence of us. It's going to be with man. So that means they would have to kidnap the Most High and the Son.